What's good, everyone? Welcome to the Man of Dorks podcast. I'm Mike.
And I'm Nick. Hey, Mike.
Hey.
I can't believe they announced a Rakdos-only format.
Really?
Yeah, the rest of the colors are banned.
You actually had me going there, though. I thought that there was literally a format that was only Rakdos.
Mike, when have I ever serious in the first 30 seconds of the show?
I guess that's true. I probably should know that by now. But good joke, Nick. Good
Thanks.
joke. The best jokes are ones that you don't know they're jokes until you hit the punchline.
But then you're just disappointed.
I was not disappointed in that case, actually.
Okay.
But anyway, welcome to the Man of Dorks podcast. If you're viewing us by video, this is our first video podcast. If not, check out this podcast on video. We'll have some photos of the cards that we talk about popping up on the screen. And but you're still going to be able to enjoy our content if you are only listening through audio. So Nick, what are we starting with? What are we talking about first?
We're going to talk about our common good for the first card here.
Yes, we are.
Do you want to read what that is?
Sure. Our common good is Emerge Unscathed. Emerge Unscathed is just a 1-drop white. 1 white for an instant that says target creature you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. It also has Rebound. And Rebound says if you cast this spell from your hand, exile it as it resolves. At the beginning of your next upkeep, you may cast this card from exile without paying its mana cost. So not only do you get 1 instance of protection from a color at the beginning of your next upkeep, you get a second instance of that protection. Where'd you use this in a deck?
In any white deck.
Anywhere. I mean, I feel like white does some things with combat damage, or there's a lot of protection in white, so it just fills that slot to keep your big threats on the board, and maybe at your next upkeep you give it protection from black if your opponent's playing black, and then you can just swing in for free damage.
Right. It's a fantastic card. Rebound is super underappreciated.
Absolutely. It's just a second cast for free.
Right.
You know? So I would pay a 1-drop white to give a creature protection for 1 turn. You know?
Yeah.
To then get it for 2 turns is just icing on the cake.
Although, I always forget to rebound.
Yeah.
When I do it.
Yeah. When you rebound, I feel like there are some tricks you can do. You can either like keep it on top of your deck or something like that so that you know at your upkeep it happens again. But I totally get that.
It's a nice surprise though, because, you know, your turn comes around, you're like, wait, I can rebound.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I would play this I have a Tajik deck, which is red-white and only cares about combat damage. So I would play this to swing in for free 1 turn, and then play it again, or cast it again for free to swing in for combat damage my next turn as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely a common good. Get this foiled. It looks beautiful. Put it in all of your white decks because you're going to love it.
Awesome.
Great. Moving on. What's next, Nick?
Let's talk about our favorite cards in green.
Sure. Share yours first.
All right. What have we done so far?
We've done
White.
We've done Woo Burr.
Oh.
So white, blue, black, and red.
Yeah.
Now we're moving on to green. The 5th slice of the color pie.
Oh, actually, we can do colorless.
We'll do colorless. We'll do multicolored, and then we'll move on to instants and sorceries. We'll keep this going for a while, but for now, just plain old green. What do you have, Nick?
So my first one here is Seedborn Muse. It's 3 and 2 green. It's a 2/4 spirit. It says untap all permanents you control during each other player's untap step. This card is so good.
It really is. There's nothing else to say.
It fits in so many decks, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I have this in my Krufix deck because it's all about tapping my lands at the end of my opponent's turn to get that colorless mana saved up.
Definitely.
It's especially good when you're playing multiplayer because at everyone's turn you're tapping your lands again.
Ooh.
It's so beautiful when I get this card. And a lot of the times it's not the biggest threat on my board.
Oh, no.
So it never goes away. You know, for at least 5 turns I have Seedborn Muse.
To get rid of that, I would probably have to use like a board wipe or something like that, because I'm not going to use single targeted removal just for Seedborn Muse.
And by that time, since Krufix is indestructible, he's got all this mana on him, and I can just poop out all these big atrocities.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. I love Seedborn Muse. It also gives your creatures kind of like pseudo-vigilance. You swing in with them, and then they are just able to untap. If you have some tapping shenanigans going on, definitely an auto-include there.
Fantastic.
Yeah. My card is Greater Good. Greater Good is a 4-drop enchantment for 2 and a green, and it says sacrifice a creature, draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's power, then discard 3 cards. So, couple good things going on here. Card draw is obviously super powerful in Magic. It's one of the things that you have to do in every deck. And also sacrificing a creature can help you in many cases. Let's say I have my Gitrog monster out on the battlefield with 6 power and Nik goes to kill it with something, then I just sacrifice it to Greater Good. I get to draw 3 or 6 cards in that case, discard 3 of them. Well, 3 from my hand. It doesn't even have to be 3 of those cards that I just drew. But I like this because I can use it in response to something. I can play a big creature and then sacrifice it right away if I just want to draw all those cards, but there's really nothing better than drawing cards, and green is one of the best colors to do it in, so I play Greater Good in a lot of my decks.
Great.
Yeah, great.
Greater.
Pass.
All right, so my next one, this one's kind of a pet card for me because I told you how amazing it is and how it should be in every deck, and then you gave me one that's better than it. Does the same thing but better. So this one's Market Festival. It's 3 and a green. It's enchant land, and whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional 2 mana in any combination of colors.
Oh, any colors. In any combination. Yeah, I feel like a lot of the times you see cards like that that tap to add 2 of any one color, or 2 of any color that that land could produce. So that actually helps you fix your mana.
Yeah, and I put it in every green deck I've ever built.
Great.
Just, I love it so much, and I always draw it.
I know, I see that card a lot.
I always play it, and I'm like, there it is, and Mike's like, that card sucks. You should get the other one.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what it was called.
Honestly, I can't either, but if we do remember, we'll put it up right here. All right, my turn?
Yeah.
My card is Return to Nature. Return to Nature is 1 and a green for an instant, and it says choose 1, destroy target artifact, destroy target enchantment, or exile target card from a graveyard. I love modal cards because they're never going to go to waste in your hand. Right. There's always something to do with them. This is just a strictly better Naturalize. Naturalize says it's the same mana cost, 1 and a green, and it says to destroy an artifact or an enchantment, but in this case you also get to exile a card from a graveyard. We have a friend who plays Muldrotha, just getting a ton of stuff from his graveyard, so he's like, oh, I'm going to cast this huge creature from my graveyard, and I just pay 2 to remove it. What is?
His deck.
Oh, yeah. Muldrotha is just so powerful in general. I think it's like the 1st or 2nd top commander on EDH Rec right now. Everyone's building it, and it's getting a reprint in Commander Legends.
Yeah.
So we're going to see a lot of that out there. So play something like Return to Nature or some sort of graveyard hate to stop those graveyard players.
Definitely. All right, Mike, so this is a big deal for me because my last favorite green card is also my favorite Magic card of all time.
Oh, cool.
So it's Beastmaster Ascension. It's 2 and a green for an enchantment. It says whenever a creature you control attacks, you may put a quest counter on Beastmaster Ascension. As long as it has 7 or more quest counters, creatures you control get +5/+5. So my favorite thing to do in Magic is beef up small creatures.
Beef up, yeah.
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 So in my Riz the Redeemed deck, it's all about duplicating tokens, just getting like hundreds and hundreds of little 1/1 whatevers. And with Beastmaster Ascension, it says whenever it attacks. So you swing out with 21 ones, and then in that moment, they all get +5/+5. It's fantastic. And not to mention, this art looks fantastic.
The tigers?
The tigers. It's so cool. I would get that as a poster.
Yeah?
I would wrap my car with that.
Wow. Maybe I'll get you a car wrap of Beastmaster Ascension and see if that actually reigns true.
Yeah, if we get 1 million likes on this video, I will wrap my car with Beastmaster Ascension.
Bet, man. I hope that happens.
Me too.
I will say, a couple times that you've played Beastmaster Ascension, I see it hit the battlefield on like turn 3, and I'm like, Nik, what are you doing? I'm just going to remove that with my Return to Nature.
Yeah, I mean...
Well, that happens with your pet cards. You're like, I love this card, I want to play it before someone makes me discard, or I lose the game or something like that.
To be fair, when I play it on turn 3, it's like, this isn't going to get me much value later in the game, especially in my Tuvasa deck, where I'm just trying to poop out enchantments.
In that case, you're using it for the enchantment rather than... that makes sense.
And then maybe I'll get to pop it. But
Yeah, but that's the point of pet cards, is
Yeah.
that they go into your deck and they might not exactly fit your strategy.
But when they work, you feel so good about it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
so nice.
Yes, I agree. My last card is actually one of my pet cards. Also, it's Ranging Raptors. It's 2 and a green for a 2/3 dinosaur, and it has Enrage. So whenever Raging Raptors is dealt damage, you may search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. So I've played this card on turn 3, and you just let it sit on the battlefield, and your opponents don't want to attack you, because even if they were to kill that creature, you still get to ramp a little bit. I find that it's a pretty good deterrent.
Definitely.
Yeah, and you don't really get to do too much damage with it unless your opponent doesn't have any blockers or anything like that. But I would put this in like a green-red deck as well, where I can deal like little amounts of damage, so I could just like ping it for 1 or something like that, just to get that mana ramp.
Right.
And it's a dinosaur, and the art is beautiful. I love Ranging Raptors.
Great card.
Absolutely, great card.
Ixalan?
Yeah, it is from Ixalan, I believe.
Yeah,
It's got to be.
All those dinosaur cards. And we bought an Ixalan booster box. Biggest mistake of our life.
Yeah, it was not good. The best part that came out of that is some of the rares that we got were like only...
Misprinted?
Yeah, they were like single printed, where usually there's like 2 pieces of paper or cardboard that go together to make one card. This was only one, so the card was super flimsy. But... that's like not valuable, you know. We got the worst kind of misprint, and that the card is just flimsy.
The way that you can check that, though, is if you use a flashlight under the card and look through it. Regular Magic cards, you'll see these like blue wavy lines where the glue is. I think they use token paper on accident.
Oh,
right? So if you look at those, you can kind of see right through it.
Yeah.
So that's why we thought it was kind of
It's the same thing as like holding up a dollar bill to the light to see that stuff inside of the...
And we went on eBay and we were like, wait, these are misprints. These are worth everything. And people were trying to sell them for like $500 a piece. And I was like, Mike, I have 4 of these.
Yeah.
But then now they're not. They're worth whatever.
No, maybe in 50 years they will be.
Yeah.
We'll see where Magic is in 50 years.
All they have to do is say that they did it on purpose, and then it's not worth anything.
I guess, yeah.
But
All right, moving on.
yeah, so let's talk about some questions that were sent in to us by some viewers.
Yeah, we have some viewers, some friends that sent in some questions to us. We have a couple questions that we want to answer on air so that we can share our personal philosophies, our own ideas about the game that we love so much. So I'll start off. Nick, I'm going to ask you, what is one of your personal playstyle philosophies?
So you asked me this, and I was like, I don't really know. I don't have any that I can think of. But then we were talking about it. There was one day we were playing probably a few weeks ago, and we've been playing for what now? 4 years
Something
together?
like that,
Something like that. And I always put, when I set up my playmat, I put my graveyard on the bottom, or my exile on the bottom right, my graveyard in the middle, and then my library at the top right.
The top right of your playmat? Okay.
Yeah. So when I discard, my graveyard's right there for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you, I noticed, put your library closest to you, and then your graveyard on the other side.
My library goes on the bottom left side of my playmat. My graveyard is above that, on top of that, because I feel like milling, you just like flip forward like that, but my exile goes sideways in my graveyard.
You do it on the left side too. That's you're right-handed.
So yeah, but I like to draw this way and hold my hand in my right hand while I draw my card like that. I just feel like I work better when my resources are on my left side.
Right. But it was really, it was like a culture shock almost to see, because to me it looked like it was kind of mirrored, so it looked normal to me. But then I really thought for a second, like, hey, that is weird.
Well, thanks.
But also another one. I like to play my lands in front of.
No, you don't. Nick was gonna say he likes to play his lands in front of his cards, his creatures, and everything like that. And he knows that is one thing that just irks me. It should irk everybody that plays Magic, because then you have to reach over your things to tap your mana.
What if you stacked all your lands in one pile?
I've seen someone do that, and I'm like, I can't count each individual land in the stack to know how many you have open.
You should keep track of what they're playing
everything that everyone plays. Okay,
you
sure.
should have a notepad. All right.
I'll answer this question. One of my personal playstyle philosophies is that I like to have activated abilities on the field, whether it's on a creature, on a land, an enchantment, or an artifact, something like that, just so in case I get flooded with mana, I have something to sink that into. I found a lot of times, I play a lot of green, so a lot of times I just have nothing to do if I don't draw enough cards, or if I only have responses in my hand or something like that. So I like to just have something on the battlefield like an Ant Queen. Ant Queen is 3 and 2 green for a creature that you can pay 1 and a green to create a 1/1 insect token. So if I have 4 mana at the end of your turn, I just am able to tap all 4 of it and get 2 insects. That's just better to me to have something on the battlefield like that than having nothing. Just sitting with open mana. Open mana just feels so bad. I want to spend all of my mana if I have nothing else to use it on.
Unless you're playing Krufix.
Yeah, that's true, unless you have something else to put it into.
Right.
Yeah. All right, Nick, next question.
Who is your favorite character in Magic?
Nice. So thinking about this question, it seemed a little vague because everything that's printed has a character on it or something like that. All creatures are characters. So I went with like a legendary or a planeswalker, something like that. I chose Garruk. Garruk is one of my favorite planeswalkers, mainly because the first planeswalker I ever pulled was Garruk Apex Predator, and his +1 ability is destroy another target planeswalker. I was like, how cool is that, that this character gets stronger by killing something else? That's just so
awesome.
cool to me. He also like lives in the forest, works on his own agenda, doesn't care about anybody else. And I also have another Garruk that's minus ability, draws you cards equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. So in some of my decks, I'm drawing 6, 8, 10 cards off of that -3. So Garruk just has a ton of value for me, and it's in green-black.
In Garruk's Wake.
In Garruk's Wake, yeah.
Great
It's
card.
7 and 2 black to destroy all creatures and planeswalkers that you don't control. Just Garruk is so flavorful, and
He likes to destroy planeswalkers.
he does.
That's
He
pretty
likes
sweet.
to destroy everything.
Yeah.
I love it. Nick-
I've used that card to destroy a planeswalker only one time, and it felt so good.
Yeah, because there aren't too many cards that just aim right at a planeswalker.
Right. A lot of times you have to get target permanent.
Yeah.
Destroy
yeah.
target permanent.
Yeah. Nick, what's yours?
Alrighty. My favorite character is Ulamog.
Mm.
Ulamog is some of the art on these Ulamog Eldrazi's is just, it's like, that's so sick. You know what I mean? If you saw that thing crawling towards you out
Crap your
in the
pants.
street, you'd be dead.
Yeah, honestly.
Like you look there's I'm looking at this card, there's like mountains in the back. He's the size of mountains, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
But this one I'm looking at is Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, and it says when you cast a spell, exile 2 target permanents. That's nuts. Indestructible. That's nuts. Whenever Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, attacks, defending player exiles the top 20 cards of their library.
That's nuts.
Say?
That's nuts. That puts you on a clock right there.
Yeah.
You have to exile him to get rid of him or bounce him back to the opponent's hand, but you don't want to bounce him back to your hand because then you just get to cast it again and get some sort of effect, because I believe the other Ulamog also has a cast trigger effect. So
A lot of them do, yeah.
It's just, I mean, Eldrazi Titans are so hard to deal with anyway.
That's why I love
so
making
powerful.
my decks based around them.
And they're colorless, so they go into any deck.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Fantastic.
wow. Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah. To put it lightly.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Next question is, what is the best way to lose a game? Nobody likes losing games, but if you had to lose a game in any specific way, what would it be?
Me first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so if I knew that I was about to lose and there was nothing that I could possibly do, I would lightning bolt myself. Just so you couldn't get the satisfaction of winning.
Wow, really?
Like beating me, you know what I mean?
So losing out of spite.
Yes.
I guess that's one way to do it if that's the kind of player you are.
Or I love going out with a bang, you know what I mean? Like I know I'm gonna lose. Or
yeah.
like even if I know that there's no way that you can beat me.
Yeah.
I just love doing like dropping everything that I can just to make it even sweeter.
Yeah,
You know what I
or
mean?
like helping out another player at the table before you go out, something like that.
Yeah.
I remember this kind of goes along with one of my best ways to lose a game, but we were playing and my way is to mill myself out by drawing too many cards.
Yeah.
And we were playing this game and I had no cards left in my library, so the turns were going around the table and I was about to lose the game when it came to me. And the player to my right was about to cast his commander and was about to win the game in that turn, and I had one counter spell in my hand. I was like, no, you are not. This is all that I can do left in this game, and I'm going to do it right here. So I was able to prevent him from getting even further. So that definitely works.
Was that the same game that you had a card that you thought was going to save you, but...
Yeah, so I thought the last card, as I'm going through my deck, I'm playing green-blue, I'm going through my deck, I'm like, I'm going to find this Laboratory Maniac in here, and Laboratory Maniac is 2 and a blue for a 2/2 creature, and if you would draw a card while no cards are in your library, you win the game instead. So I'm going through, I'm like, wow, I haven't seen it yet. It must be literally the last card in my library, and I pull the last card, and it's a spell book, which is a 0-drop artifact that says you have no maximum hand size. I'm like, that does not help me right now. So
I
apparently
remember you were like, guys, it's going to be the last card in this deck.
I thought I was going to win because I had other ways to draw cards, but it wasn't in the deck. And then
I wish I was recording you because you were like, where is it?
Yeah, that was super sad. But so I kind of did both of my things there. I milled myself out and also helped another player at the table by preventing another player. I will say that one of my other ways that I would like to lose a game is to take lethal combat damage, but from multiple creatures, where I have creatures on the battlefield as well. I do the math and I do the blocking, and I'm like, dang, you just beat me by like 3 points of damage or something like that. That is oddly satisfying to me, where it's like, oh, I almost had it, but no, you beat me there. I will say the worst way to lose a game is by one big unblockable creature. And that's like half of Nick's decks. So, a little shade thrown at Nick there, but
sorry.
No, it's all good.
That's all I know.
That's all good. It's a good way to win the game. Voltron is a pretty good strategy, especially when we play 1v1 very frequently.
A lot of the times, though, it's slow. So like,
yeah.
You guys have by the time I get my one creature big enough to destroy you, you guys have like 30 creatures on the battlefield.
And then I have like a murder in my hand or some removal spell to kill your creature, and then it's like all that work was for nothing.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's move on to our next question.
Our next question is, what was your favorite set or block of sets?
Again, I feel like I'm going to have a couple answers here. I'll pick one. I'll pick one block. My favorite block was the first block that was newly released when I first came into the game of Magic, and that was Shadows over Innistrad and Eldritch Moon. There was great art in there. There was the mechanic of Delirium, having multiple card types in your graveyard. The Gitrog monster, my favorite card of all time, was printed in Shadows over Innistrad. And then just the nostalgia of it being the first set that I really got into Magic during.
Yeah.
The colors are also awesome. Shadows over Innistrad was printed in this nice blue packaging, and Eldritch Moon was in a deep purple. Emrakul was in Eldritch Moon, Liliana was in there. It was just so flavorful. Zombies and monsters and Eldrazi, and it was just so dense. I just loved that set.
Great set.
Great set.
I remember when I started, I think Eldritch Moon was 2 or 3 sets old.
Probably rotating out at that point.
Yeah, just about, yeah. But I always went for that just because I didn't know what I was doing, but the packaging just looks so cool.
It does.
Yeah.
What's yours, Nick?
Mine has to be Throne of Eldraine.
Oh, sweet.
But for one reason only.
Okay.
The art.
The art, yeah. Man, I'm like closing my eyes picturing Throne of Eldraine cards right now.
The first time I opened one of those sets, I was like blown away. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
These sets that are coming out are doing the same sort of things like those extended art borderless or the storybook looking ones. But, But like, it was brand new, and at first I was kind of like, because I saw some of the spoilers and I was like, these look stupid. Like, what are they doing? And then I opened my pack, and it was a foil Curious Pair, I think it was. Okay. And it was just beautiful to look at. The art, it was foiled. It had the storybook vines on it. It was so cool.
The adventure mechanic is super cool because it's 2 things that you can do on one card. Yeah. And then the art, the storybook kind of lore of it all is so cool. There's like princes and the golden goose and things like that just bring in that kind of
Unicorn?
Yeah, that childhood feeling that you had. It's just, I totally agree with you there. Great set. And again, printed in purple packaging.
Yeah,
I think the color on the pack really matters.
it does.
Like, I did not open a lot of Guilds of Ravnica or Ravnica Allegiance because it was this like bright blue and this bright yellow. It just wasn't that
Yeah.
appealing to me. But these deeper colors, I love Zendikar Rising with that green. It's
Right.
just, it definitely makes a difference. It's appealing to the eye, so you want to open that set.
Definitely.
Great. Next question that we have is, what is your favorite color pairing or grouping? So either 2-color pair or 3-color pair. Nick, what do you have?
I have green blue.
Green, blue. Simic?
Simic.
Simic. Is that because you play Krufix?
I play Krufix because of that.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
What are the benefits of Simic?
Simic. Well, see, I love green because we haven't gotten to the question yet, but I'll get into that later. But green and blue are tied for my favorite colors.
Okay.
Green has these big creatures. It has tons of ramp. It has tons. What's a good word for it? Like utility. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And then blue is like, I'm gonna cover my butt. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Green can do anything at all in Magic.
Yeah.
Anything that you want, green can do,
Right.
and then blue is just going to help you get there.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
And it protects you. Counter spells.
Bounce spells.
Yeah. It's
Definitely.
just card draw.
Card draw,
draw's
of
pretty
course.
big in
In
blue.
both of those colors, you get great
Both
card
of them,
draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. My favorite color pairing is Golgari, black, green. I'm assuming you can guess why, the Gitrog monster, but also, like I said before,
Show.
yeah, playmat
Gitrog
right here of Gitrog. Nick bought this playmat for me. Gitrog's amazing, but that's not why I'm talking about Golgari. Golgari has a lot of graveyard things that happen, and I think the graveyard is just like an extension of your hand, kind of, if you use it correctly,
Right.
which I haven't fully been able to utilize, but we're getting there. I'm learning, and Golgari is quickly becoming my favorite color because similar to blue-green, there's card draw, there's a ton of removal in black-green.
Yeah.
All over the place there's removal. There's pump spells, there's big creatures in there, there's small utility creatures. It's just everything that you want to do. Everything you want to do in Magic. Very similar to what you said about Simic can be said for Golgari, and I think that these are some of probably the 3 best colors in Commander.
Definitely.
Yeah. Cool, so that brings us to our next question. What is your least favorite color pairing or grouping?
Least favorite color pairing. Red, white.
Red, white.
Boros.
Boros? And
Yeah.
why?
We'll get into it later, but I really, really don't like red.
Okay.
There's portions of red that I can get under.
Lightning
But-
bolt?
Yeah. But just in general, I think it's only there because it has to be.
Really? The
Yeah.
color pairing or?
The color red for
Okay.
well, you said pairing.
Yeah.
So I threw white in there because of the other 4, white is kind of
Weak.
yeah, it's not very
It can't do.
versatile.
White has no card draw, almost no ramp.
There's
It's
one ramp. And
Yeah.
It's core cartographer.
core cartographer. There's
Yeah.
also like some that get planes cards into your hand, but that's not counted as ramp.
Right.
So you're right.
But it's just I don't think I would ever build a red-white deck.
It's very combat based, and
Yeah.
once you get enough creatures on the battlefield, if they get removed, you more often than not end up in top deck mode,
Yeah.
and you can't do anything. So
And red is okay. So if I was gonna play like 60 card Magic, I would probably play red more often just because
it's quick.
it is quick.
Yeah,
In Commander, it's so like painfully slow.
definitely.
You know what I mean?
Because with red for card draw, it's discard cards to draw cards,
Right.
or
So
exile cards to
yeah.
draw cards. Doesn't work.
And it's just like, here, I'll ping you for 3, ping you for 3.
Yeah,
Ping your for
exactly. And then you
Yeah.
run out of cards in your hand. I
It's-
agree with that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not very fun.
I'll say that my least favorite color pairing is Azorius white-blue, and that's because I hate playing against it. Because it's either super heavy on control or has a ton of flyers. And those are 2 things that are really hard to deal with if you're playing like Golgari, like I like to play. So I see its value. I mean, it has blue in it, so it's got to be worth something with the card draw and the protection that it gives you. but we have a friend who plays Grand Arbiter Augustine that makes your spells cost 1 more to cast, and then he has some other tax effects. It's just...
I don't like to talk about it.
Azorius is the color combination that makes me go, just like,
and that's his only deck.
Yeah, it's the only deck that he plays. So you're like, well, Ben's coming over. I guess we might as well quit.
Well, next time we'll tell him he can't come over unless he uses one of our decks.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Ben, if you're listening, you can't come over anymore. All right, let's move on. This is actually our last question of the day, and it's a big one. It involves a lot. Nick, I want you to rank the 5 colors of Magic, just single colors by themselves, not with their pairings or anything, from your least favorite to your most favorite. Let's go back and forth. So you tell me your least, I'll tell you my least.
Okay. Should I even say it?
Go ahead. Red, yeah.
You too?
No.
Oh, what's yours?
Mine's white. I want you to tell me why red is yours, though.
I pretty much just did. It's just boring.
Yeah.
So when I say this, I'm speaking for Commander.
Oh, totally.
Strictly.
That's all we know.
Yeah.
All we know is Commander.
It's just, it doesn't provide me with the power or the satisfaction of having the power that I need.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's some colors that are support colors that need another color to beef them up, unless you're running a really concentrated version of that color.
Right.
And I agree with you a little bit.
Okay.
For red.
Well, see, because you play red.
I play red. I play mono red for 2 decks. One of them is just straight burn, and then the other one is Zodahedron Grinder. I think I've talked about that on an episode before. If not, I will in the future. But you just have to be really focused if you're playing mono red, or you need another color to support red.
Maybe I just did red wrong when I did it.
Sure. And also, I will say the art on red is like my least favorite art to look at. It's only fire or mountains or dragons.
Yeah.
Or it's just, I know it's weird to say, but all of the art is red. I feel like with green cards or anything like that, you get some variance of color in the art. But red cards, I'm just like always seeing fire, and I'm over it. I'm over it. I agree. My least favorite color, like I said before, is white. White can't stand on its own unless you are... I have a proxy deck that I built that's all about protection, and
I hate that.
Nick hates it because I don't let him do combat damage or non-combat damage or anything like that. So white is good at protecting itself, but it's not a great finisher. It's not going to win you the game by itself. So I pick white for its lack of card draw and ramp and big creatures, and I'm not really a life gain player, so white doesn't work for me.
I think that we need to get them, give them some background knowledge about that, because it's not right what you're doing to me.
What? In that deck?
The Rune Tail?
Yeah, all right. I'll tell you about it. Rune Tail, Kitsune Ascendant is 2 and a white for a 2/2 creature, and it says if you have 30 or more life, I can't remember if it's beginning of your upkeep or something like that, or maybe it's whenever you have 30 or more life, you flip him. He turns into an enchantment that says prevent all damage that would be dealt to creatures you control.
Which is whatever, but the worst part about it is you always get Pariah.
Pariah is one of my favorite cards of all time.
And you stick it on an indestructible creature.
Yeah, let me share what Pariah is.
Oh my
it's
God.
2 and a white, and it says enchant creature. All damage that would be dealt to you is dealt to enchanted creature instead. So I put it on any creature because my creatures can't be dealt damage, so then I can't be dealt damage. I also have creatures in that deck that can block any number of creatures. They have flying, so just like Nick can't get through my big wall unless he has all of this targeted removal to remove my many pieces. I love that deck, and I might make it into a real deck if I want to sink all the money into it.
Pariah on an indestructible creature.
It's a recipe for success.
What's a boy to do?
Nick, tell me about your 4th least favorite color, or 4th favorite color, I guess. Your 2nd least favorite color.
Okay. The one after red it's white.
Yeah.
For the same sort of reason you were saying. It's just, I don't know how to say it any differently. I don't want to copy you, but it just can't hold its own.
I agree. It's definitely a support color.
Yeah. I mean, it's fantastic putting it in decks that,
need the support.
Need the support.
Exactly.
If I had to describe it, it's a support color.
I would say it's a support color.
But you know what? it really is. It's just a support.
Don't say it again. Thanks, Nick.
No, we're gonna keep running into this because of
All right,
our list.
I'll share my fourth favorite color in Magic is blue. I might get some hate for this, but it's blue because I'm looking at these colors by themselves. I think blue is too slow to win the game.
Okay.
If I'm looking at these as monocolored decks, and I think that a blue monocolor, unless you're running really, really heavy mill or a lot of counter spells or something like that, where you're gonna prolong the game for as long as you can until you get a couple tokens that can kill your opponent, or you're gonna draw out of your library, it just doesn't do it for me.
I guess I was looking at it differently. You're looking at it as a monocolored deck, but I was looking at it as if I had a commander in mind, or if I wanted to pick a commander, would I include blue or would I include red? You know what I mean? It could be blue and whatever, but I don't know.
When I build a deck, I like to look at what's going to be the main color in the deck and what's going to, I'm going to say it again, what's going to support that color. And blue is just always the support for me. It's never the main color.
I guess I understand that, but that wouldn't put it, below red.
For you?
In my book.
Cool. Well, we'll
And
talk
it
more about
shouldn't for
that.
you
We'll talk
either,
more
but-
about that. Go to your next color. What is your third favorite color?
It's black.
Cool.
I love black. I think that it gets a little boring for me sometimes.
Yeah.
Just because there's a lot of the same kind of stuff going on, draw a card, lose life. I have a really hard time. You always say use your life total as a resource.
It is.
I
It is
have
a resource.
really hard time doing that. It's
Yeah.
just like, even if I'm at 30 life, it's like, I want to draw a card, but I don't want to lose a life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
But I guess in the grand scheme of things, if I'm at 30 and I need a card, one life is worth it.
Would you rather have 2 extra cards and 2 less life, or the cards that you have right now and the life that you have right now? I just think, I guess that's kind of a basic question, but
I guess I get what you're saying.
it makes sense. Would you rather, I don't know, you always want to draw cards.
Yeah.
You really do. I feel like even if I was at 10 life, I would take that to draw 2 cards and lose 2 life, just because those 2 cards could be the 2 cards that win me the game.
Unless they're not.
But they get me
And then-
closer to the cards that will win me the game.
I guess. Yeah. I don't know. Black, I like black. I'm not going to say I don't like it.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, it's not my go-to.
Sure. Let's move on to my third color. My third color is red. And like I said before, I'm looking at this as strictly monocolored decks. I have 2 monocolor red decks that work really, really well. One of them is Torbrand, Thane of Redfell, and that just makes my burn spells or any damage a red source would do add 2 more damage. So that's just a pretty quick deck as long as I can get the spells going. And I have Zadahedron Grinder, which is a creature that whenever you target it with a spell, you copy that spell for each other creature that you control. So that deck works so fast. I've won on turn 5 with that deck. And I just think red, like I said before, when you concentrate it by itself, it can win you the game super fast, but it's always a support color.
So you're saying that when it's alone, it's really good, but it's a support color.
Yeah, when it's alone, it's really good, but when it's in a 2-color deck, it's not the main color.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
It's not the, okay.
Yeah.
I getcha.
What's your, did you already say your third color? Yours was black?
Black,
So what's
yeah.
your second color?
Green. I love green because, like I said earlier, it's so versatile. It has everything you need. It's the best for ramp. It's got big creatures. Card draw.
Yep.
It's just fantastic.
Absolutely.
And the art is usually really cool.
Yeah,
I love green art.
definitely. And forests, the lands,
Yeah.
some of my favorites to look at.
Foil forests.
Oh yeah, foil full art?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Don't even talk to me.
My second favorite color is black, for the reasons that it kind of can do almost anything. We just had a new card printed in Zendikar Rising that gives black the ability to deal with enchantments. That wasn't something it could do before on its own, but now it can. So it's starting to progress in the color pie, and I don't know, it's all about death. You can remove your opponent's stuff, you can drain them from life when your stuff dies. Sacrificing creatures as aristocrat style decks are really powerful, and they always use black. By itself, it works really well. It can give you some big mana, but it would be the star in a two-color deck, I think, because, well, unless it's with green. But black-white is a great pairing for death triggers. Black-red is not really a deck that I would play, but black-blue also has its benefits with like zombies or mill or something like that. So I just think black is a color that I always find myself gravitating towards.
Okay. So I guess I don't want to say that it's my favorite color because, like I said earlier, it's pretty much a tie between green and blue.
Okay.
And I like them for, different reasons. They just go so well together.
Oh, yeah. It's the most powerful combo.
Yeah. See, blue is, I guess you could say it's a support color because I'm not going to make a mono blue deck like you were saying.
Yeah.
But as a support color, it's probably the best.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I would say it is.
You can't beat it. Counter spells. There's so much flying.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of unblockable.
Yeah.
It's just great. There's so much versatility in green and blue.
Yeah.
And then when you put them together, it's just
harmony.
Nothing can beat that.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
So I'll say that those two are tied for my first.
Okay.
If that's okay with you.
Of course.
And you guys.
That's fine with me. I have one color as my favorite. It's green. Green is the best color to me in Magic, the best color easily in Commander.
Okay.
It's just gonna win you the game. Big creatures, ramp out your mana, draw a ton of cards, deal damage to your opponents, win the game. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's it. That's all you need.
That's all you need.
That's magic.
That's magic.
That's all you need.
Great. So those are all the questions that we had for you guys today. If you have a question that we didn't answer on the show, send us in. Where can they find us, Nick?
themanadorksmtg.com.
.com, Instagram, Twitter. Find us there.
Find us there.
Yeah.
Head over to our website. You'll find our YouTube channel. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're anywhere. And if we're not where you need us to be, let us know. We'll put us there.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
Before we end the show, I want to make a bold claim. I've been thinking about this for a while. What can Magic do next? And I think the next big thing that Magic's going to do, I would say by 2023. Needs to do, will do, can do, should do. By 2023, I think Magic is going to space. Aliens, space lands, interstellar battle, like it just has so much potential for it. But the thing I'm not excited for is when they inevitably do like Secret Lair Star Wars or something like that and make some really powerful creatures like Rakdos Darth Vader creature or something like that. It's just, that's going to be a little oppressive, but I think Magic is going to space by 2023. You heard it here first on the Man and Dorks podcast. I will take my check now from Wizards of the Coast. You can make it out to Michael or out to Cash, and I will just cash it right away.
Make it out to Cash.
Make it out to
cash it.
Exactly. We're going to space, baby.
All right, join us there.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time on the Man and Dorks podcast. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for watching.
Seven, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.